Welcome back. So we're going to continue our labels and even our chart bubbles video. So we'll just throw them right in there too. So we're throwing chart bubbles up when we get crosses based on the vortex indicator on a 14 period and a 150 period. So these will be V14 crosses, 14 length, and we will see V150s. Okay, and that's a 150 bullish outlook, and V14 is a short-term bullish outlook. So let's go into our vortex cross signals here and change the V14 to a short-term. All right. And we'll make that color light. We'll make it light orange if it'll accept that. If not, we can always go over and grab a couple numbers and create a color. All right. So now we get our V50s. Those are our long-term bullish outlooks. And our V14s, those are our short-term bullish outlooks. We get these little biplots every now and then here, and those are our Kapok signals here. Okay, that is a long-term, also, say kind of swing trading strategy. All right, but I like to use the Kapok all the way out on the weekly. All right, and we also have another little chart bubble up here. That's a tweet and a run away. Okay. So when we see a tweet or a run away, those are based on our money flows. All right. That's a good amount of money coming in. All right. And we can see those are very early signals. All right. So we get quite a few tweets and a couple runaways. All right. And that means that it's kind of bouncing around. Okay. Those are kind of neat, aren't they? All right, so we'll get rid of all that for right now. And we'll go back to adding a label to something. So we can find anything to add a label to. All right, maybe we want to add a label to our vortex here to tell us whether we're bullish or bearish. Okay, so whether it's crossing above or below. And we also have quite a few other settings we can make labels for too. A caution buy, caution sell, a buy and a sell. We could chart those and give them colors as well. All right. Let's go in and see what we have. Okay, so maybe let's add 2 chart bubbles right in here with these. And we'll come over and we'll grab our little bubble script here. We'll find one. All right. And we've got red and green. All right. And you have to change some things around in them. And let's see if adding them to a lower script still puts the plots up top. Because we've got 4 here that we could plot. We're only going to do 2. Okay. Now, let's start with our caution buy. And then it looks like enter, okay. And we'll make that one just our regular buy here. Alright, now let's see how those come up. It's pretty simple to go through. Add chart bubble, then specify what you want your signal to be. You know, close it out. Say the close on price, and then what you want it to read. So it's going to read enter super overbought. So we're going to change that right here so it doesn't read that. And we're going to change that over to caution buy. And we'll change this one over to V-buy. Now let's hit apply and see if they show up on the top chart or on the bottom. Or if they don't show up at all. Well, that's no fun. That didn't work the way I wanted it to at all. All right. So let's go over and make something that will work. All right, so let's go over to our scan tab here. Now this is on the daily. We should probably bring it out to at least the weekly. We're going to hit edit here. And we're going to bring up our vortex. All right. Now we'll go with the standard vortex. Just the one Thinkorswim has. And it's on a 14 period. All right. And we want to know when the VI plus crosses above, okay, the VI minus. So we'll go here and we'll go study. And we'll look up our vortex again. And we'll go VI minus, and we will hit save. Now we can go grab that right from the ThinkScript editor and copy that. And let's take that over to our chart. Now we're going to create a new study with this. So we'll hit create there, and we'll paste that right in here. But we don't want to paste it there, we want to paste it here. Alright. And let's give it a couple spaces here. We'll rename it. And we're going to call it Upple Bubble. There we go. And hit OK. Now we'll go back in here to our new vortex where we put those charts that they didn't want to work. Our bubbles. And we'll copy them. And we'll leave them in there for now. We'll just hash them right on out of there. We'll paste those right there. All right. And let's just start with one chart, one little bubble. And let's have it very simple. Data or data from a bar ago. Oh, how did that happen? Now let's see how that goes. And now we have our V-buy plotted right on our chart. So now we know when our vortex is crossing on a 14 period. All right, now that's good. Yeah, excellent. Looks like it is an accurate crossing. Okay. Let's take it out to the daily. It works. Wonderful. All right, so we want to know when it's crossing above VI minus. It does here. Of course, it does here briefly and then crashes. It does here. It does here. It does here. So that's a very helpful little thing. All right, but we still have this plot across the bottom, and we need to get rid of it. All right. There we go, cross above. So let's go into that vortex upper bubble there. And instead of plotting that, we need to define it. Define. And perfect. Now let's make sure it didn't go away. No, it didn't. And let's jump over. Oh, wow. All right. So you can see why using two vortexes can be helpful. We can get a 150 period vortex to tell us what the overall trend is, which we can see was down. And then we can see when that trend got broken, and we got a little bit of a pop, all right? So this will give you a long-term and short-term outlook, both in one chart. And if you don't want to have them on the bottom, you can plot a couple bubbles up top to give you some extra information. So that's kind of neat there. So let's go jump back over to adding a label in here, all right? And we'll look for some labels. All right, so we've got our %R labels here. And what do we want to add that to? And we can add it to just about anything. So let's hit apply here. We used the %R, and we had to tweak it a little bit to get it working, and I think some of the labels still don't work as quickly as they should, but I recently heard that they were working on that, so let's get that fixed. But you can see that they're saying different things, all right? That's because we've got two different ones in there. And depending on how you want to look at your signals, if you want to say oversold is a good thing or a bad thing, it would just depend. So it's fairly simple. But we'll take this one, and this is the example we used for our awesome oscillator. So we'll copy that here, and we'll get rid of it. And we'll take our awesome oscillator, and we'll bring that back up. We'll get rid of this. And just as something has an overbought and oversold level, you can put a little label up here, all right? And have it tell you whether it's overbought and oversold. Now this one is only keeping track of two, but you can keep track of, more. Okay. So you can use these as overbought and oversold. All right. And let's pull up our little example here. And we'll pull up our RSI divergence. And we've added that right on in there with it. And once we can see which one is functioning quicker, which one the computer can understand quicker and how quick they change, then I'll decide which one we want to keep. But it's pretty simple. If it's overbought, then, the label will say overbought. Else, if it's oversold, then the label will say oversold. Else it'll say sideways. If it's overbought, then color it, the downtick color. Else if it's, overbought, if it's oversold, color the uptick. Else color dot gray. I don't really like color dot gray. We should do another color. But anything that can really accept an overbought and oversold, this will work for. Okay? So let's go find something that does not have it. Like, momentum average. No. Here we go. We'll go on the multiple time frame stochastic. And we may have to set the time frame. Stuck on 5 minutes. Let's bring it out to daily. Hit apply. And you can see we've already added an oversold and overbought label to it. And it's that very simple label that we had before, but we can add this slightly more complex label to it as well. And now we're just contradicting ourselves. So the labels have a little speed issue, I've heard, but of course I could just very well be wrong too. But you can add a label in with your overbought and oversold, RSI, stochastic, percent R, percent B, or really any strategy that you make, as long as you specify an overbought and oversold level. And then you may even have to come up here and define exactly what that is. Saying that it's greater than or less than overbought, greater than or less than, level 70, such and such. So little tweaks like that, and you can get the codes working. I'm still tweaking these, but we can get them working. And cancel there. And that is how we are able to add our little chart bubbles and labels to help us with our direction, maybe our short-term and long-term outlooks, and whether, it might even be trading sideways for a little while. So if we're looking for a stock to trade up or sideways, or down and sideways, that might be something we want to know. So if we look up our DMI, we have a custom DMI stochastic. Let's get rid of this here. We'll apply this here. And this is one we spent some time working on too. And our custom DMI stochastic is set on simple right now. Let's jump that right over to Hull. You can't do that with the normal one. Okay. And now we've got a much smoother signal to look at. All right. And I will continue to tweak these little labels, so maybe I'll have them say If the arrow was green, then, you know, it's an uptrend until we get this, you know, or a down arrow. And then our down arrow, it's a downtrend until we get our up arrow. So we'll keep playing with them, but people consider different signals in all different configurations. So it's really hard to say, but you can program these labels to be any way you want them. The idea is that I can't tell you what to do. Not a financial advisor. Data scientist, not financial advisor. I'm only qualified to build spreadsheets, and I don't even think I do that well. Tee-hee. All right. Oh, all right. Cool. That's good. Buy America. JD.com. Nothing great there yet, but our vortex was throwing off some signals. All right, so before I go into a video on TCDA and putting, checking out a bunch of stock tickers, I will leave this one here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button, support my work, and I'll catch you in the next video.